Om. 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 Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sabhayai Namaha. Shri Matre Namaha. Go Matre Namaha. Gita Matre Namaha. Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today we shall revel in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Every chapter is an Upanishad, because if you take just that chapter and study well, we get so many gems out of each chapter. And most of them are connected to the other chapters. And some of them are not, just very specific to the chapter itself. But you will not be lost if you just join in the middle and continue. Because Bhagavad Gita is so connected. And you might have seen many teachers just taking up only one chapter for a saptaha or a weekend retreat. Because you can get an Upanishadic message or message like what you get in a particular Upanishad from that particular chapter. Hence we say when we conclude, Om Tat Saditi, Om Tat Sat Iti, Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu. Gitasu is a plural. So many Gitas. Each verse is a Gita. Upanishadsu. So Upanishad. Each chapter is an Upanishad. Om Tassaditi Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu. Brahma Vidyayam. Brahma Vidya. The knowledge about Brahman. Yoga Shastre. The science of yoga. Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. A dialogue, not an argument, not one-sided teaching or dictatorial or a dictum. It's not one's own whims and fancies and opinions which are taught in this text. So it's a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. A particular chapter. So Om Tassaditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. We did Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvitiyodhyayaha. Now we say Atha. Atha Prathamodhyayaha. So Atha usually should be said for a text in the beginning. That is yet another reason that each chapter in itself is like Upanishad. Atha Tritiyodhyayaha. And the names, as we talked in the past, were given by sages later on. And if you contemplate on the name itself, we will know the content of the chapter if we have read once, or we'll try to understand what is going to be taught or what is taught. Is my voice clear enough? And can you see the slides? Okay, sir. So third, Atha. Atha and Om. Atha Shabdascha, Omkarascha. So these two are very auspicious words. Omkarascha Atha Shabdascha. Dvavetau Brahmanapura Kantham Bhitva Viniryatau Tasmat Mangalikara Ubhau. Mangalikarau Ubhau. Mangalikara Ubhau. So these were the first words which came from Brahma's Kantha. throat, voice. So once again I'll say, Omkarascha atha shabdascha dvavetau brahmana pura kantham bhitva viniryatau tasmad therefore mangalikarau ubhau. Mangalikara ubhau. Mangalam, shubham, auspicious. So now this chapter is called Karma Yoga. Karma is action. Action can mean reflex action or reflective action. A reflex action, most of us are used to it. We straight away respond. So reflex action is a response without a pause. Whereas reflective action is a contemplated or reflected, or the one thoughtful, and an action with pause. So it's like the movement of the particular steps in chess. So every step is meditated upon, contemplated upon, thoughtful action, thoughtful step. Reflective action versus reflex action. So karma becomes karma yoga when it is a contemplative action. And you see in Bhagavad Gita, in the chariot between the two armies, you see Arjuna, who represents the action, and Krishna, who represents the contemplation. So both together are within us. We have to contemplate upon both of them so that both could be seated in our mind. Buddhi Yoga is applied knowledge. We will see this word which was used in the second chapter, which is Samkhya Yoga, which is well analyzed science, Samyak Kyatam, well analyzed science. So 49th verse of second chapter. Durena hyevaram karma buddhi yogat dhananjaya buddhau sararaman vichha krupana phalahetavaha. O Arjuna, karma by far, durena, by far, karma, when compared to buddhi yogat. Avaram, varam means shreshtam, better. But by far, karma is worse than buddhi yoga. So now, this is selective hearing, as most of us do, especially with our spouses. Yeah. So selective hear. We just want to hear what we want to hear. And Arjuna thought of this. Oh, karma is worse than buddhi yoga. Then why not? I just seek buddhi yoga. This is what I've been saying in the first chapter to you, O Krishna. And Arjuna Uvacha. It begins with Arjuna Uvacha, third chapter. You see the freedom to question and the greatness of Guru allowing the student to ask the questions. So as we said, the worst question is the question which is never asked. So unless we ask, it won't be clarified. So Arjuna, with so much of freedom, and see the way he asks, treating Krishna as his friend. Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhirjanardana tatkim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi keshava. O Janardana. Janardana is another epithet for Krishna. And we can dwell on this name and then contemplate on this name. Why Vyasa used this word here, Janardana? He could have said any other four-lettered name for Vasudeva. So any other name, but Janardana, Janaihi, Archyate, the one who is worshipped by Jana, everyone, and the one who is approached by everyone. Archyate. Artha, you ask, if you have to ask someone, you have to go to Janardana. So Janaihi, Arthyate or Archyate is Janardana. There is another meaning also. Janan ardayati. So whenever he had to discipline, he disciplined Janas. Tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi Keshava. If you think buddhi is better, jayasi chet, when compared to karma, why are you propelling and forcing me into this ghastly action of warfare? Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tatkim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi Keshava. Keshava also, we know the meaning is so profound. There is no one other than Guru if you have to ask a question. And Guru we know, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Guru is the embodiment of three. And those three are Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. And you see here Keshava word is made up of three. Kascha, Ascha, Ishascha. Kaha plus there is another word A and then Isha. So Isha for Ishvara. Va means Vishnu. Ka means Brahma. Ka means Brahma. So this Kascha, Ascha, Ishascha, Keshavaha. So he is asking like that. Although he is now, as a friend, is taking much more freedom to say these words. Vyamishreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vada nischitya yena shreyoham apnuyam. व्यामिश्रेणेव वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे तदेकं वद निश्चित्य येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम्. Your words so far, you talked about Atma Tattva, you talked about Swadharma, you talked about Karma, you talked about Vedas, and then you said Vedas are useless. And then you said, so just seek this Buddhi Yoga. And then you talked about Sthita Prajna. And you also talked about Gata Prajna. Gata Prajna means the one who actually lost this Prajna. They all are jumbled up to me. And they are so bewildering to my mind. Buddhim moha yasevame, as if they're deluding my mind. So this is how you taught me. You just teach me that one thing by which I attain Shreyas, what is good for not only me, but also good for the world. Shreyascha Preyascha, we talked about that from Kathopanishad. So Shreya and Preya. And now the Karma Yoga begins. And Karma Yoga becomes Karma Yoga when a karma action is performed with a detached engagement. Detached engagement. So we will be seeing this word which is coined by Swami Bodhananda, how well it is explained in this chapter. It is completely detached yet fully engaged with equipoise, as we saw in Sthita Prajna Lakshanas, with no bias or nor prejudice. And we take some examples. Exhibiting the excellence in our action, not worrying about the results and not perturbed by the effects, and receiving the results gracefully and offering unto supreme consciousness. So this is the gist of Karma Yoga. And Krishna begins by saying, Arjuna, karma is essential for everyone. No one can remain inactive. Hence perform the duty, but without attachment. By leading as an example. If you run away, people will laugh at you. But now here is a chance that you can seize this opportunity, because such an opportunity, the window of opportunity, will not come again and again for a Kshatriya. But at the same time, watchful of the nature which governs our action. Beware of these two, the enemies, desire and anger. and know what sacrifice yajna is for this wheel of life, for the cycle of life, for the cycle of the world. And we'll see how selfish action is sinful, but a sacrificial action is divine. And action, being better than inaction, that begins with this verse. Sri Bhagavanuvacha Lokesmin dvividha nishtha pura prokta maya nagha jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. O Arjuna, I taught two paths in the past. Now, Arjuna doesn't get it when Krishna said in the past, when in the past, until the next chapter. So in this Asmin Loke, Dvividha Nishtha, the two spiritual paths. Nishtha is a path which is taken up and then you are established in that. That is Nishtha. Pura, in the past, long time ago, Prokta said. By who? Maya. O Anagha, O sinless. See how sinless, so this is again so particular to Hinduism. Each one of us are sinless. Amritasya putra. We don't go to the God saying that I am sinful. God wants us to realize that we are sinless. And that realization itself is derealization. So sinless is Brahman, Sama, and we are that. So ages ago, I explained these two paths, O Arjuna, O Anagha. Anagha is masculine. Anagha, if you say, it is feminine. One of our friends, Sureshji's daughter is Anagha. Dattatreya's wife is Anagha. Dattatreya. So Shakti. So consort means the Shakti is Anagha. Anagha or Anagha. If you don't say Visarga, it is Sambodhana. It is vocative. O Anagha, O Arjuna. Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam. For the Sankhyans, for the saints, for the ascetics, I taught Jnana Yoga, Jnana Marga. And for those who have to act in this world, for those yogis, with Karma Yoga, I taught and I showed this path. And there are two paths. One path is certainly not for any of us here. We are right in this world. We have to act. We have been acting and we will be acting. And there's no point now in saying go to Himalayas and then practice all Bhagavad Gita. Swami Bodhananda says, what is there to practice in Himalayas? You will be sitting in a cave. There is no interaction other than the interaction with the walls or the hills, sky or water or earth. Na karmana manarambhat naishkarmyam purushoshnuте na cha sanyasana deva siddhim samadhigacchate. Without working, how can you practice Karma Yoga? Without interacting with people, as you see on this side, without interacting people, how can you exhibit your personality? How can you exhibit your emotions? Then how can you show the Sthita Pragya Lakshanas? If you're on your own in Himalayas, yes, you are a Sthita Pragya until you're brought into the world. Nacha sanyasanadeva siddhim samadhigacchati. So this sannyasa doesn't mean someone with saffron robes. Asam means being seated. Nyasam means nischayena seated. Ni asam nyasam. Nischayena. So the one who is very well established. Samyak, always, all the time, from every angle. So samyak, nischayena, nyasam is samnyasam. But, it has become so synonymous with a sadhu or saint in saffron robes. So unless You're so well established. Unless your prajna is sthira, drudha, and sthita. Prajna is wisdom. Wisdom is the knowledge which is applied in day-to-day life. So unless that is well established, how can you attain the goal? Siddhim samadhi gacchati. How can you think of siddhi? And as we saw in the 18 verses in the last session, we saw Siddha Lakshanas. Siddha means accomplished. Siddhi, the goal, and Sadhaka, the practitioner, the seeker, and Sadhana, the practice. And also the warnings. If we don't do certain things, how we fall down. So that is Gata Prajna and then Sthita Prajna. So Nahi Kaschit Kshanamapi Jatu Tishthatya Karma Krutta. Karyate Havashak Karma Sarva Prakriti Jair Gunaihi. Our Prakriti, look at this heart. Our heart is functioning relentlessly, whether we are sleeping or whether we are dreaming or waking or active. So the heart is functioning. So our endocrine glands are functioning. All our physiological functions are there. Otherwise, there is no life. Ups and downs in life are very important to keep us going, because straight line, even in ECG, means we are not alive. Said by Ratanlal Tata. So for Sharira Yatra, Sharira, this body, and we talked about what Sharira means. Sharira means Shiryate iti Sharira, the one which over a period of time decays, whether we agree or not. So that is the meaning of Sharira. Shiryate iti Sharira. But Yatra, for the journey of this body, Sharira Yatra pichate na prasidhyed akarmanaha. So non-action, inaction is nowhere in the picture for even Sharira Yatra. So we ought to act. Act we must. And there are two ways of acting, or two ways of acting: without thinking, without reflection, and then acting in a contemplated way. So that is karma and karma yoga. Then restraining or abstaining from action in two ways: with knowledge or remembering the things and then remembering the things mentally, but staying quiet physically. So there are two things: one who restrains the senses and organs of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects. So certainly he or she deludes and is called a pretender, mithyachara. Whereas Shishtacharya is, on the other hand, who he or she controls the senses by the mind and engages in the activities, works with devotion, works with the knowledge, and without attachment, is by far this personality is superior. So once more we will. So this is, as you can see, you have a double picture of yourself. Isn't it Hyde and Jekyll? Yeah, so Hyde and Jekyll. So karmendriyani samyamya ya aste manasa smaran. Karmendriyani samyamya ya aste manasa smaran. Indriyathan vimodhatma mithyacharasa uchyate. So mithyachara, the deluded, the pretender, if he goes after indriyathas, vimodha, the deluded, mithyachara, the pretender, are mentally remembering them, but physically restraining. So this one is called mithyachara. And we have talked a little bit in the second chapter. It is important during sadhana stage, but it has to come naturally to us with sadhana. And that is Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinah rasavarjam rasopyasya param društva nivartate. Vishaya vinivartante. So certain things, if you keep them away, they go away from you, they stay away from you. But mentally you're not away from them. That rasa will still remain and linger and then bother, and we'll be craving for that. But outwardly, we won't show that. But that rasa is also gone when you look up to something, when realize something higher than what is external. And the other one, Yastvindriyani manasa niyamya rabhaterjuna karmendriyai karma yogam asaktasya vishishyate. Is asakta, anasakta, anasakti or asakta. Asakti, sakti is very attached. And anasakti is non-attached. Or asaktaha, also non-attached individual is called anasakti. In fact, Gandhiji writes his commentary is anasakta yoga. Anasakta yoga. So asaktaha means the one who is not deeply attached to anything. Vishishyate, he or she excels, which we have to do certain actions, and you have to do as an employee or an officer or delegated person. So we have to, and we have certain roles as father, mother, son, brother, daughter, and friend, whatnot, teacher, student. So they do as it's needed with the karmendriyas, the organs of action, with so much of knowledge about the action and controlling their senses. That is, yaha tu indriyani manasa niyamya. Niyamya means controlling with their mind. So as we have seen, the chariot, the horses are the senses, the mind is the reins, and then manasa means with buddhi, and manas with the charioteer and the reins, the horses are controlled so that the horses or the senses go in the right direction. So once more these two verses. Karmendriyani samyamya ya aste manasa smaran indriyathan vimodhatma mithyacharasa uchyate yastvindriyani manasa niyamya rabhate arjuna karmendriyai karma yogam asaktasya vishishyate. So which is better? It is very obvious that a Shishtachara is better than Mithyachara. There is a story, two sannyasins, they cross the river, and then there is a woman who is not able to cross the river because of the depth of it and also because she's so scared. And then one of the saints helps carrying the woman and then crosses the river. Then an hour or two later, the one who did not carry the woman asks this other sannyasin, hey, as ascetics, are we not supposed to touch a woman? And then the one who carried the woman says that I only carried that woman while crossing the ocean, and you are still carrying that woman. So mentally. So that is how, so these two examples are given. And there are a couple more examples given by Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, but just due to lack of time, I think that is very impactful, I thought. Then there are some Ashtakshari mantras. We talked about Samatvam Yoga Uchyate, Yoga Karmasu Kausalam, and so on. And here we come across two other great Ashtakshari mantras. Ashta Akshari. Ashta means 8. Akshara means alphabets. So what is that? So Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam Karmajyahohya Karmanaha Sharira Yatra Pichate Na Prasidhyeda Karmanaha. If you don't want to remember the entire shloka, Niyatam Kuru Karma Tvam. Tvam is you and me. Thou, you means me too. And Krishna is saying, Kuru, act, Kuru. And Kuru clan, so Kurukshetra is the field of action, this body, field of action. So Kuru means karo in Hindi, do, act. Then karma, that particular act, which is that particular act? Niyatam. Niyatam means what is prescribed, what is right. So do it, Arjuna. Do what is right and do it right. Do what is right and do it right. So that is Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam. And then there is another one, Karyam Karma Samachara. Karyam Karma Samachara. Karyam means the one which is to be done. For Arjuna at that time, fighting the war and fighting against the enemies is the most important thing. And for us, if you are a student, study is the karyam. For us as a gruhastha, there's so many karyams, the ones which need to be done by us. So karyam karma, the one which is prescribed and righteous and needful, that samachara. Chara means go. Achara means practice. Samachara means always practice. See, only Vyasa can use these words. Our Guru Shistacharya Garu used to say this. Karyam karma samachara. Then another one, a great Sanskrit scholar. He used to tell this Mukta Sanga Samachara. That also we come across in the 3rd chapter. Mukta Sanga Samachara. Mukta Sangaha. Mukta, released, free from. Sanga, attachment. Mukta means free from. Sanga means attachment. Samachara, do it right, do it well, do it with skill, practice to do it well. So, Mukta Sanga Samachara. Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam. Niyatam Kuru Karma Tvam. 8. Karyam Karma Samachara. So 8 letters. Mukta Sanga Samachara. So Tasmad Asakta Satatam Karyam Karma Samachara Asakto Hyacharan Karma Paramapnoti Purushaha. So when we develop this kind of act, when we develop this kind of mindset, then we will be eligible to reach that stage. And he gives examples. He gives example of Janaka. And he also elsewhere gives an example of himself, Krishna. So here, karma naiva hi samsiddhim asthita janakadayaha loka sangrahamevapi sampashyan kartum arhasi. In this karma only, Janaka and others, there are so many other kings in Kuru clan, and before that in Ikshvaku clan, in Raghu clan, we'll see that. Adayaha means etc., etc., etc. So there's a nice movie, King and I. I think Yul Brynner, he says that word beautifully, etc., etc. Okay, so etc. Janaka Adayaha karmani eva he certainly asthita established samsiddhim asthita. Because Janaka is taken as an example because he is a king, like Arjuna, a Kshatriya, who ruled the kingdom so very well. And in fact, this king Janaka ruled the kingdom so well, he's called Videha Raja. Videha Raja means Vigata Deha. He forgot about his body. He knew that he is Atman, not the body. Videha. Vaidehi, Sita Devi also. So the one who is beyond Deha, the one who has gone beyond body, mind, intellect and ego complex. We have to put it that way. The one who has gone beyond body, mind, intellect and ego complex, BMIE. And all this our effort is to go beyond that. So karmanaiva hi samsiddhim asthita Janakadaya. And why? Loka sangrahamevapi sampashyan kartum arhasi. Now, why do you need to act? Is it to take the revenge or to take the animosity now into action against the Kurus? No, it is for Loka Sangraha because they are the evils of the society. And elsewhere, not in Bhagavad Gita, Janaka and Sri Krishna are given as examples. Viveki sarvada mukto kurvato nasti kartrutam alepavadam ashritya Sri Krishna Janako yatha. Viveki, the one who has the discriminative power to decide what is good, what is not, what to do, what not to do. That is Viveki. Viveka. Nitya vastu vivekaha is in him. So that's why it's called Viveki. Sarvada Muktaha, always is so free. Even if he does, whatever he does, kurvato nasti kartrita, he doesn't get tainted by that action. Because that action has to be done at that particular time, in that particular place, for that particular people. And how alepavadam ashritya. So they have this great concept of alepavada. Lepa means the one which you can apply. The ointment is called lepa. So by applying, so this lepa, then you won't be tainted. It is like the panasa. Panasa is the one which is very sticky. I'm blocking on the name. So the sticky fruit, jackfruit. So jackfruit is so sticky. So Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, if you apply oil first and then deal with the jackfruit, then you won't get any itching and then it won't get sticky. Or in recent example, if you say, the surgeons who wear gloves and then do the surgery, a surgeon who does the surgery by wearing gloves is not tainted by any blood. So that alepavadam ashritya, who Sri Krishna and Janaka. So Sri Krishna Janako yatha. So that is a great example. And Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, this verse, Viveki Sarvada Muktaha verse, was actually, I heard it directly from Swami Ranganathananda. Somehow I remembered it so well, I thought I should mention it. That was some 50 plus years ago. So live well in the world, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says. You sail the boat on the river waters, but let not the world live in you. Let not the waters enter into your boat. Then the joy will be there when you live, when you sail the boat on the river waters, the joy of living in the world. This alepavadam ashritya Sri Krishna Janako yatha. And Sri Krishna himself gives his examples in the forthcoming chapters. Look at me, O Arjuna. And there is one other thing Swami Chinmayananda says. You may smoke. He used to actually smoke. You may smoke, but let not the smoke smoke you. You may have a drink, but let not the drink drink you. So you may have the joy, but let that not joy or pleasure will kill you. So that's the whole point. So live well in the world. Sail the boat on the river waters, but let not the world live in you, and let not the waters enter into your boat. And yajna. So this yajna concept is brought into 3rd chapter. So yajna is a great word. Yajna, tapa, dhanam. And at the end also, Lord Krishna says, this should not be given up. And we'll read a little bit more about yajna. We'll study a little bit more about yajna. Yajno vai Vishnuhu. Because yajna is Vishnu. In Mahabharata, in the beginning, how this yajna came into concept, into practice, so that the Ishvara himself, the Paramatma himself tells Brahma when the creation was happening. So yajno vai Vishnuhu. Yajna Varaha, we say Varaha Avatara is yajna Rupa. So yajna itself, Vishnu. Vishnu himself is yajna. Bhuvanasya Nabhi, or the navel of the cosmos. And without yajna, we cannot not only survive and then not cherish. We cannot only cherish, but we cannot even survive. So in Vishnu Sahasranama, you see this great verse, Yajno Yajnapatir Yajva Yajnango Yajnavahanaha Yajnabhrit Yajnakrit Yajni Yajnabhuk Yajnasadhanaha Yajnantakrit Yajnaguhyam Annamannada Yevacha. So he is Yajna from beginning to end. We'll read a little bit more about this when we learn Brahmarpanam verse. That also conveys the same thing. All the angas of yajna, yajnanga, yajna vahanaha, yajna bhrut, yajna krut, then yajamani, the one who does yajna, the one who chants the rituals. So yajna concept, if you look at, there are a lot of things. So we will try to define yajna in many different ways. So it is a unique endeavor. It is a unique endeavor. The rituals are shown in Karma Kanda of Vedas. But we have to go a little deeper into it. So it is not just mere action and mere ritual. There is much more meaning, and there is much more worship, and there is much more reverence is in yajna. It is a unique endeavor if you look at from social point of view, with full involvement, full effort, and in cooperation and coordination with others for the good of the community. And the results of this yajna are received gracefully and are offered unto the Supreme Consciousness or Supreme Self. So now in yajna, there are so many. There are Yajamani, there is Adhvaryu, and there is the one who chants Samagana, and then there is Ritviks. So all these people, this is the teacher, preacher point of view. And then Yajamani and the helpers. So that is the administrative point of view. And then so many helpers for a certain act, so many contributors. So the traders, the Vaishyas, and then so many labor. So all these four are equally important. And then the Homa Dravya, which is used for this yajna from ritual point of view, is so auspicious. And when that particular Homa Dravyas, oblations, are used, they actually evaporate into the fire actually takes them as a smoke and then evaporated the ethereal substance up into the clouds. And there happens some cloud churning. Aurobindo describes that this is how the rains happen in a place where yajna is performed and as a ritual, and at certain places, the certain seasons, and then certain particular yajnas, and then how they should be, in a rectangular form, in a square form, in an oval form, in a triangular form, in a circular form. So there are all different forms of these yajna kundas are there. And there is much more that we need not go into the details now. So yajno vai saha, yajno vai Vishnuhu. This root comes from yajane. Yajane means pujane, worshipping. And this yajna is a divine milking cow. So the one which fulfills our wishes, it's called Kamadhuk or Kamadhenu. And yajna, in one simple definition, if we have to say, Swami Bodhananda says, sharing. Sharing is yajna. And if you look at this yajna root word, I came up with this and then I saw somewhere else also somebody commented, so I felt good about it. So, yat krutena tat jnayate. Yat krutena, by doing which, any act as yajna, tat jnayate, that is known. By doing which, that is known. So that is yajna. So any endeavor, any act, if we do with this concept, the detached engagement, because, I'm sorry, we take the results as prasada gracefully and we offer the results unto the Supreme. And while we do, we actually do it for Loka Sangraha. Loka Sangraha means for common good. And we are cooperating with all others, with all inclusiveness. We are taking every person into, every person as a stakeholder. And it's for the common good. Common good not only for the beings, but also the Panchabhutas and also the world and universe. And we are actually offering this as a reverence to the mighty gods. And then we'll talk about those mighty gods. The mighty gods, there is a Adhisthana Devata, a presiding deity for all these, for Varuna, let us say. Varuna is for all the water bodies, Varuna is Adhisthana Devata. Vayu, for all different kinds of airs, so Vayu is. Like this, we have the presiding deities and the mighty deities. So yajna is a sacred offering. Yajna karma samudbhavaha, we will see that. Then yajna, duty done without attachment. Yajnarthat karmanon yatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. If we do yajna like this, it is a mukti for us. It detaches us from any bondage. It actually releases us from any bondage. Yajna is a worshipful offering, a puja. So, yajne tapasi dane cha sthitis sadi iti cha uchyate. In 17th chapter, we see that. So, yajna is Supreme Self, as we have seen this Vedic saying, yajno vai Vishnuhu. Yajnena yajnam ayajanta devaha. In Purusha Suktam, we see this. So, yajna is knowledge through right action. And yajna, offering of the self, Atma yajna. That is the highest yajna. So, surrendering ourselves. So, this yajna has so many meanings, but it is an endeavor for common good, putting our full effort and in cooperation with others for the common good. And the fruits are received, the results are received gracefully and are offered unto the Supreme. So, this yajna and us, we are actually brothers. We are more than cousins. We are like literally born together. Saha yajna praja sristva purovacha prajapatihi anena prasavishyadvam eshavostvishta kamadhaka. Brahma, if you look at the creation, after the mighty deities are there, then he wanted to create us. All of us are created. But all of us are created along with Yajna. So Yajna is our sibling. Yajna is our sibling. Saha Yajna Praja Sristva. Along with Yajna, Praja Sristva. So Praja means us. Prajapatihi Brahmaji, Pura Uvacha. He said in the beginning. In the beginning, he created Yajna and us together. And Yajna is our elder brother, our elder sister. Saha Yajna Praja Sristva Purovacha Prajapatihi. Sahodara, we say, no? Sahodari, Sahodara. Saha Udara. Together we were in the womb. Saha Udara. Saho Udari. So Sodari, Sodara came from there. So this Yajna is your Kamadhak. This is your wish-fulfilling Kamadhenu. Be thou happy by this yajna, because it will bestow upon you all desirable things. And Kanchi Paramacharya, he gave this verse to M.S. Subbalakshmi to be sung in one of the United Nations gathering. Janani Prithvi Kamadhugaste Janako Devaha Sakala Dayaluhu. So Prithvi, Janani, mother, Kamadhuk, like Kamadhenu. This Vasundhara. Vasu means all riches. The one who bears all the riches, the one who has all the riches is called Vasundhara or Vasudha. Vasudha means this Prithvi. And Janako Devaha Sakala Dayaluhu. Damyata Datta Dayadhvam Janata. So we'll talk about this later on in forthcoming chapters. If we don't do this, what happens? And then if we are just selfish, I, me, myself, mine and my own, and then we just revel in our own selfish interest, that is Indriya Arama. Arama means the one who is a pleasure seeker in all the sense objects. This Kama Arama. Kama means desires, the one who just dwells and lives and then enjoys just for himself or herself. By not sharing. If you don't share, Tairdattana pradayebhyo yo bhunkte stena eva saha. Stena means chore. Chore means like literally a seizure, the one who seizes from somebody. So we are like chores or stena. And then agha. Aghayurindriya Rama, Mogham Partha Sajivati. So we are moghas, we are aghas, we are stenas, and we are chores if we don't give back to Mother Nature. Then there are four kinds of people. And so in a lighter way, yogi, bhogi, rogi, and drohi. And these are coined by Swami Bodhananda. Yogi is the one who eats once a day. And bhogi, the one who eats twice a day. And rogi, who eats thrice a day. And drohi is eating 4 times a day or more times a day by seizing from someone else. And yogic way of life is very simple diet, a sattvic diet, sattvic mind. A bhogic way is ample life, rajasic food, and selfish mind. We have to be bhoga and yoga also. But we should not be rogi, a complex life, a tamasic food, and self-harming path. And we should certainly not lead a drohi way of life, a condemned life, a seized or stolen food, a dreadful existence. Because yogi lives well and lives for others. Yogi lives well and lives for others. Bhogi lives well but focuses more on himself. And Rogi lives for himself but at the cost of his own or her own health. And Drohi lives by causing harm to others. So Yogi or Bhogi. And then this Mukta or Yukta or Sthita Prajna is like this, always happy. Yogarato va bhogarato va sangarato va sangavihina yasya brahmani ramate chittam nandate nandate nandatyeva. So such a person is so happy. Okay, when you have, you enjoy. When you don't have, don't scream or don't cry. So dukkeshu anudvignamana sukheshu vigataspruha vita raga bhayakrodha sthitadhir muniruchyate. So such a person, now we should be a yogi. And in 6th chapter, we'll see once again who yogi is. So here, a worldly cycle, the cycle of life and the cycle of world is explained so very well. अन्नाद् भवन्ति भूतानि पर्जन्यादन्न संभवः यज्ञाद् भवति पर्जन्यः यज्ञः कर्म समुद्भवः कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि ब्रह्माक्षर समुद्भवं तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितं. So yajna is the navel, the nabhi, so of bhavanasya nabhi. So how we see, so this with yajna a lot of things happen. And where did this yajna come from? Look at this here. Yajna comes from karma, our action. And then where is this karma prescribed? In Vedas. And where did Vedas come from? From Akshara. So Akshara Samudbhavam, Brahma. Brahma means Veda also. Brahma means Vedas also. Then karma. Then from karma to yajna. Then this yajna, the rains, parjanya, we just have talked about, like Aurobindo, he talked scientifically and he proved it also. Then from this rains, annam means the food comes. And then from the food, so we talk about the punarjanma, and then in the 8th chapter, how the life is being born. The actually life, jiva, enters into the annam and then enters into purusha, and then from purusha's sperm, which joins with the ovum of the mother, and then bhutas are born. So bhutani. So the Annad bhavanti bhutani. So this is explained here. Parjanyadanna sambhavaha. From Parjanya, Anna comes. Yajnad bhavati Parjanyaha. From Yajna, Parjanya comes. Then Yajna karma samudbhavaha. Karma comes from Yajna. Then karma brahmodbhavam vidhi. Know that this karma is described in Vedas. Okay, brahmodbhavam. And then where does these Vedas come? So Vedah. So Vedaishcha sarvai ahameva vedyaha Vedanta krit veda videva chaham. I am the author of Vedas. I am the knower of Vedas. In 15th chapter we'll see. So that Akshara, the one who is imperishable. Kshara means perishable. So that's how it comes. And then this, if you look at from that Atma, Mahan, from that Atmana Akasha. Akashat Vayuhu. Space, air, ether to air. Vayor Agnihi. From Vayu Agni. Agner Apaha. From Agni Apaha. Water comes. Apa Adbhya Prithvi. From waters earth. Then Prithivyam Oshadhayaha. Oshadhis means herbs. And Oshadibhyo Annam, food. And then Annat Bhavanti Bhutani. So that is how a cycle of this Jagat world is explained. So now, take a moment. And in third chapter, Krishna advises us, just look into yourself. Yastvatmaratirev syat atmatruptascha manavah atmanyeva cha santushtaha tasya karyam na vidyate. When you have realized this yajna concept and loka sangraha concept and the karma as karma yoga, then you revel. You revel in yourself. Atmarati, Atmatrupta. You're so content. And you are happy within yourself, by yourself. Atmanyeva cha santushtaha, Atmatruptaha, Atmarataha, Atmaratihi. So all these. So we have seen this. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan atmanyeva cha Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogataha
Atmanyevatmaya tushtaha
Atmanatushtaha, Atmanyeva Atmanatushtaha, Sthita Prajnastadochyate, Atmanyeva Atmanatushtaha, Atmanayeva Atmanatushtaha. It is like by the people, to the people, for the people. So by the Atma, within Atma, and for our own Atma, for our own sake. Thank you, Sureshji. So that's again Atmanyeva cha santushtaha, Tasya karyam na vidyate. So that one who is taking pleasure in the self, the supreme self, who is illumining the self, who rejoices in the self only. So for him or her, there is nothing much. So Swami Vivekananda says, so take time to talk yourself at least once in a day. Otherwise, you may miss a meeting with an excellent person in the world. So you have to meet with yourself at least once a day. And we have to be happy, be content, because contentment is the content of life. Happiness is the essence of life. Happiness is not at the end of our journey, my friend. It is there all along the journey indeed. Happiness is the greatest heap of riches. Sages are the witness for this for ages. Contentment is the greatest treasure. Being with oneself is an utmost pleasure. We go on and on in search of pleasure, day and night, alas. We are never at leisure, oh friend. Pause for a while and see within yourselves. You find deep within a treasure that is marvelous. What you have now is what you desired one day. All of us, what we are now is what we desired one day. What we have now is more than many others any day. So friends, it could be worse than what it is today. Live not like miserly rich man to die every day. Whole world was not enough for Alexander the Great. Whole world was not enough for Alexander the Great. A small land of 3 feet is good enough for a saint to sit and meditate. In that meditation, we actually meet with ourselves and we revel in ourselves. So that's why Vamana asked for only 3 feet. He didn't ask for 6 feet. 6 feet are necessary when we are gone. If we choose that path to be Khanana. Khanana, Hanana. We have only 2 things for this day. Hanana is fire and then Khanana is being buried. So the whole world was not enough for Alexander the Great, but a small land of 3 feet is enough for a saint to sit and meditate. So now this Loka Sangraha, once more explained by Swami Vivekananda, it is for both self-purification and world glorification. Atmano mokshartham jagat hitaya cha. Sakta karmanya vidvamso yadha kurvanti bharata kuryad vidvans tatha saktaha chikirshur loka sangraham. If we seek this Loka Sangraha as our goal in our life, we feel so good about it and we act with the same intensity, with the same pleasure and with the same attitude as someone works for himself or herself with selfish attitude. This is what it is. This is one of Swami Ranganathananda's favorite verse. In fact, he prints it on his Gita commentary, the second volume. Or first volume, I think. Yeah. Sakta karmanya vidvamso yadha kurvanti bharata kuryad vidvan tatha saktaha chikirshul loka sangraham. So with Loka Sangraha in mind, with the same interest, with the same enthusiasm, with the same involvement. A Vidwan acts just like a Avidwan, the one Aviveki, acts for selfish interest. Okay, then you will be a role model, Arjuna, if you do that, because there are so many role models. How? Yad. Because the role models are very important, because many follow the role models. Their elders, ancestors, revered people of the past, the best amongst us. So whatever they did is a set standard for all of us, and then we try to follow them blindly. So they laid the path for us to follow with faith. And this sloka, this is the first sloka which I learned from my father when I was a child. Yadyadacharati shresthaha tattadevetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanuvartate. Yat shresthaha acharati, whatever the elders, great men, great women, acharati, practice, tat itara janaha, the same thing, other people. Saha, that role model, yat pramanam kurute, whatever he sets or she sets as a standard, lokaha tat anuvartate. So they practice. So that's why you have much more responsibility, O Arjuna, being a hero and a leader. And we're all leaders. We're all leaders for our own family members, for our own friend circle, for our own community, and then at our own workplace. Okay, so fight with all your might like a knight. Yet, not worrying about the results and free from the fever of the fear and the perturbations of what will happen. So don't think, what if. Just think, so what. Whatever comes, take it as an opportunity. And all those, just surrender unto me and then offer unto me. And then you will be free of burden. Because we saw that karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhuhu mate sangostva karmani. So success or failure, you don't take upon your shoulders, and claim or blame, you don't take. And you do your act right. You do with full concentration, full focus, not worrying about the past results or future results. Past, because our worry, because we failed in the past. Or we just rush because we were successful in the past. And future, the fear of not getting successful or not attaining the success. So Maya Sarvani Karmani Sanyasya Dhyatma Chetasa Nirashe Nirmamo Bhutva Yudhyasva Vigatajvaraha. So let go of greed, let go of selfishness, let go of fear, and let not your heart be disturbed. Act you must, act with grace, just like Janaka and Krishna, and surrender unto me and offer all the results unto me. I shall take care. So this, we always, all of us have this ego, this like capital I. It should become small after contemplating on that verse karmanyeva adhikaraste, because there are 4 others other than you who are responsible for success or failure. Adhishthanam tatha karta karanam cha pruthak vidham vividhas cha pruthak chestaha daivam cha atra panchamam. So then when we contemplate our ego, big I becomes small I. Then we can fit in highness. So we realize that highness, and then we'll fit in that highness when we let go our ego, when our big I becomes small I, and then it will merge with highness. So I-ness to I-ness to highness. So this is the summary of Karma Yoga. So we can't sit still even for a second. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishthatya karma krit. And for our Sharira Yatra, we need to act. Sharira Yatra Pichate Naprasidhyeda Karmana. We should breathe, we should eat, we should act. Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam, what is prescribed, we should follow and act. And keep the role models. Kuru Karmaiva Tasmatvam Purvai Purvataram Kritam Yadyadacharati Shrestaha Tattadevetero Janaha. And act with detachment. Mukta Sanga Samachara. and act well and do what is to be done. So act right and act with righteousness and do what is right. Karyam karma samachara. So surrendering mentally unto the Supreme, engaging fully in every action and giving yourself completely, and then receiving the results gracefully and offering the results unto Him. That is the core of Karma Yoga. And then in next 5 minutes, I'll just conclude. So there is nature, this Prakriti. It yields and then it drags us. Sadrisham chestate swasyaha prakritir jnanavanapi prakritim yanti bhutane nigraha kim karishyati. So this is the nature of Prakriti. It yields us because our all senses are created in such that we look outward, not inward. We look into that. But Swami Sarvapriyananda says, what is the key and what is the answer to this? Is there a way? And that is in the next verse. Indriyasya indriyasya arthe, indriyasya indriyasya arthe, indriyasya indriyasya arthe, indriyasya indriyasya arthe, ragadveshau vyavasthitau, tayorna vashamagachet tauhyasya paripandhinau. This raga and dvesha are the two things which are the obstacles, so or the speed breakers for us. And I'll take up this a little bit more in detail when we do the 18th chapter. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat svanashtitat swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. For now we'll take, O Arjuna, your dharma is Kshatriya dharma. You do this. Now you are not a sannyasi or Brahmin to run away from the war field. So you do your dharma. So sadharme nidhanam shreya. Because if jitva va bhokshase mahim, otherwise you will go to Swarga. So if you win, you will enjoy this earth. If you lose, you will go to Swarga. And then lastly, this chapter ends with this great Upadesha. When Arjuna asks, okay, all this, you said this raga and dvesha, but there is some strong power which yields people to do this. So people know about it, but they can't implement it. And they cannot retract from it. What is the reason? And the reason is explained in next few verses. And the question is this. Athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya paladiva niyojitaha. Athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. Kena, by what? There is an one Upanishad by name Kena. Katha, Kena, Prashna, Isha, like top 10 Upanishads, Kena Upanishad is one. So this Upadesha in 8 verses is Kena Upadesha because it begins with Kena, Prashna, by who, by what force people are yielded, impelled to do these acts which are not to be done. By all of us, by just some force or the other. So what is that force, O Krishna? And Krishna says, this is Kama and Krodha. And we have seen how dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho bijayate. Because kama is such a thing, the desire, if it is fulfilled, another kama is born. Because it is like fire. When you put oblations into the fire, it only just flares up. Najatu kama kamanam upabhogena samyati havisha krishnavatmeva bhuya eva abhivardate. So we have to hold it at the level of that, the thought of it, and the use of it, and the limitation of it, and then the result of it, the end result of it. So that kama is turning into krodha when it is not fulfilled. So kama yesha, krodha yesha, rajoguna samudbhava, mahashano, mahapapma, vidhyena mihavairinam. These are great devours, all devouring. And these are the great enemies of us. And in fact, the Arishad Varga, the 6 enemies, start with Kama, Krodha, then Lobha, Moha, then Mada, Matsara. So Kama Esha, Krodha Esha. So it's Kama. Kama's meaning so many: lusty desire, irresistible desire. They overwhelm and veil our wisdom. Veil our wisdom in 3 different ways. If we are just little, wise people, and then just only a little bit of action is needed to clean that. Just like the dust on the mirror. All it needs is a Guru Upadesha, or little contemplation, little thinking, and little introspection. Then some of us need a little bit more practice. Just like, the first one is actually like the smoke on the fire. Smoke on the fire, just with one whiff, it goes away. So that is about the best. And then there are the people in the middle, where it just needs little cleaning of the mirror. So just like the dust on the mirror. And then the third example given is like the womb, the fetus in the womb. It takes 9 months for the fetus to come out. So it takes a long time for us to change. So the change will happen for the best of the people, just with little introspection, a little thought, like a whiff. The smoke is blown away with one just whiff of us. And then a little more effort is needed, like cleaning the dust on the mirror. And that is given in this example. Dhumena vriyate vannehi yadhadarsho malena cha yadholbena vruto garbhaha tatha tenedam avrutam. So dhumena vanni. Vanni means agni. Dhumena vanni. So when you actually blow away, the fire flares up. Then adarsha is mirror. Mala means dust. So yadha adarsho malena cha. Then yadha ulbena avrutaha garbha. Garbha means fetus. Ulba means this amniotic membranes, the uterine membranes, the uterines. So tatha tena idam avrutam. This kama and krodha can overwhelm us in 3 different levels. And with our sadhana, with our purva janma sukrutam, with Guru's grace, and with God's grace, with Gita's grace, so we can actually try to remove this. And lastly, so know this indriyas and indriyarthas, sense objects, senses, mind, and buddhi. So the different levels, how they are. So indriyarthas are in front of the horses, so sense objects. And the horses are the senses. And the mind is the rein. And buddhi is the sarathi. So that is explained in these 2 verses. Indriyani paranyahuhu indriyebhya param manaha manasastu para buddhihi yo buddhe paratastu saha. Evam buddhe param buddhva samstaphyatmanamaatmana jahi shatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. So knowing this, with this buddhi as your sarathi, and then kama and krodha, which are entangled with the sense objects, vishayarthas, when we get, we want more. When we don't get, we get angry. So that is to be conquered over, knowing these levels and approaching buddhi and praying to that Sarathi, who is Partha Sarathi. Partha Sarathi is our Sarathi. And he is the one. Here is the supreme. And then our vasanas are there. Our body, mind, and intellect, which perceives, feels, and thinks. So body perceives the objects. Mind feels the emotions. Intellect thinks of the thoughts. So we have to now realize these various levels, which are nowhere but now here within us. So Om Tatsat. Om Tatsat. May that force be with you all. Om पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you.